Tissue paper and chicken wire. Two things that seemingly have nothing in common, but for the Greek community at Oklahoma State, they're all too familiar with it. It's called pomping. Giant decks of tissue paper are oozing with school spirit, are designed to draw in Cowboy alumni far and wide during the OSU Homecoming's infamous walk-around.
You start hanging those screens at noon on a Wednesday afternoon, you're just happy to be there, right? But by the time that everything had been put up and we had everything moving and everything was looking good, I was already just so proud.
With just how much time and work is put into making the homecoming walk-around look its best, who wouldn't want to celebrate the school spirit being brought by this once-a-year art display?
400 people total, times 8 a week. Yeah, 3,200 hours a week. I don't know, it's 32,000. 3,200 hours a week, roughly. And then there's people who go over the limit and just succeed and just want to be in there helping as much as they can.
And it's this effort and art that gives OSU the title of America's Greatest Homecoming. But now that homecoming has come to a close, what happens to the giant paper displays lining University Avenue?
Tissue paper doesn't last forever, and all good things must come to an end. And eventually, those HOCO decks start to look a lot like my to-do list, and it's time to take out the trash.
From Friday nights under the lights to Monday morning dumpsters, the 3-month build-up to homecoming ultimately leads to piles upon piles of papers and wires left to be dumped the next morning, leaving some Greeks to feel like they've been a different kind of dumped.
It's like a heartbreak, you know? It's like you're walking away from a really good relationship. That's how I felt when at the end of walk around, when we're finally done, everyone's seen all the decks, and then the game starts the next day. The decks are kind of forgotten about, so it's kind of sad.
To make matters worse, it was a gloomy week in Stillwater, and everyone knows what happens when paper and water meet.
Especially on a wet year like this, the pump gets moldy. It does, especially when it's landing against all those rusted pipes. It starts to smell. The glue smells really bad, so it's really hard to keep around, but when we can, we do.
But despite the work being torn down seemingly overnight, it's more about what the tissue paper represents to those involved, rather than the bright orange designs themselves.
Being a part of the team this year was just another level of just proudness and sense of like tradition that I've never been able to experience before the past 2 years that I've been here.
The decks may be down in the dumps, but the spirit of Greek life and OSU pride remains as intact as ever. Reporting from Greek Row, Peyton Little, Pete's Corner.